Hello everyone, and welcome back. As of now, for the 108th episode, I will analyze none other than Anton Chigurh, the main antagonist of No Country for All Men. By far one of Cormac McCarthy's greatest creations and Javier Bardem's greatest role, Anton Chigurh is by far the most realistic psychopath ever made in cinema, and in this episode I will analyze all that we know about him from both the 2005 novel and the 2007 film adaptation to understand Anton Chigurh and exactly how and why he is this way. And now, let's begin. Now, before anything, we first need to discuss about a possible backstory for Anton. As far as we know, given the fact that at the time Javier Bardem was in his 30s, Anton might have been the same way, and given the fact that No Country for Old Men takes place in 1980, thus Anton might have been born sometime in the late 1940s to the early 1950s. And eventually his appearance is the one thing that truly strikes me the most, given the fact that nothing that he has on him pretty much matches each other, in the sense that his hair, his clothes, his style itself, none of it is matching at all, and thus implies to me that Anton might have been at odds with the world likely his entire life, and perhaps, who knows, he might have been bullied or even abused throughout his life. But finally, there is an infamous theory that says that Anton used to fight in Vietnam, and this, honestly, I bought this theory, given the fact that both Carson Wells, the secondary antagonist, and Llewellyn Moss, the main protagonist, both confirm they have fought in Vietnam, and Wells admits that he knew Anton well before the events of No Country for All Men, thus implying that both of them might have met and fought alongside each other in Vietnam, and it's a war that likely has traumatized him, given the fact that the face that he has it throughout the movie, in my opinion, is the face of a traumatized man, as well as the fact that he's so efficient with weaponry and even medical knowledge, proves to me that he might have been taught all of this in the US military. And thus, it could be implied here that after the war, Anton was so traumatized that he lost it and became a remorseless hitman and somewhat of a serial killer, killing almost everybody he comes across in cold blood. But of course, Anton is not necessarily without morals, as he has one specific rule in his life, the coin. If the one specific target picks the coin right, he will let the target live. Or otherwise, if they pick it wrong, then he will kill them, similar to what he did with the shopkeeper in the film, or with Carla Jean Moss at the end of the film. And now, circa around by the year 1980, Anton killed the guy at a party for making a bad remark about his hair, leading him to get arrested. Then he killed the cop using his own handcuffs, and then hijacked the cop's car and impersonated him and killed an innocent man and stolen his car. Then at the gas station, as he refilled the car's tank, he officially played the coin trick on the shopkeeper. The keeper thankfully picked it right and Anton spared him and let him to keep the coin. And now, Anton has been hired by a man in order to recover $2 million in drug money. And so, the money ended up in the possession of Llewellyn Moss, who is another Vietnam War veteran. And so Anton officially was sent after the money, and he wasn't alone, as the man also hired Mexican criminals as well. And so Anton killed all the said criminals so only he can recover the money. And he tracked down Lily Moss anywhere he could, including to a motel where he killed the Mexicans out there and tried to find and kill Moss, only for it to fail. And then at another hotel where he came extremely close to kill Moss, but ultimately failed. And so he had to treat his wounds. And now problems have arisen because of the fact that he discovered that his employer hired Carson Wells, his old associate, who is also after the money. And so Anton finally snapped and killed Wells at his apartment. And then he made a deal with Lulin on the phone. He has to surrender the money to him and let himself be killed in exchange for his wife to walk free, or otherwise he will kill both him and his wife and take the money anyway. And then Anton proceeds to kill his own employer as well as the employer's accountant for hiring both Moss and the Mexicans, and decides to keep the money for himself. And now before we will continue, we will stop and ask, is Anton evil? And I do understand because the question seems to be silly, but it should be noted here that Anton, in my opinion, could be considered somewhat of a tragic villain, in the sense that if the Vietnam theory proves to be true, means that Anton is a US soldier with PTSD, and thus it could be explained why he ended up this way, especially given the fact that his morality has been broken beyond repair, especially to the witnessing the worst in humanity on the battlefront. However, even if that proves to be true, none of it is justification for what he is doing throughout the film, and even even though he might have been kind of misunderstood in his life, given the way he's clothing himself, as well as his mannerism. None of it is justification either, given the fact that Anton, in my opinion, is nothing more but a pure evil psychopath who cares for absolutely nobody and nothing but himself, and especially to do his own twisted morals, as he sees himself as an agent of death, and all people around him, he doesn't see them as people or equals. He sees absolutely everyone around him as cattle. And as proven to me, the answer at the end is ultimately yes. Anton is evil. And then Anton eventually kind of won, but yet he also didn't at the same time, as Lolin got killed alongside his in-laws by the Mexican criminals, and the criminals took all the money. And after their funeral, Anton showed up at their home to greet Carla Jean Moss and played the coin trick with her, and when she picked it wrong, he killed her, only just to keep his promise to Lolin earlier. And then he officially left with his car, going to escape from Texas before his compromise. But a car accident happened, and Anton is left injured. Thankfully, two teenagers shown up, and they officially help Anton to manage his wounds and give the money as reward. And then Anton officially was free. It's absolutely unknown what's happened to him afterwards, or even if he's still alive or dead, or if he even survived despite everything. But who knows? So in the end, who was, or possibly who is Anton Chigurh? He is nothing more but a diabolical monster who only saw people around him as nothing short of inferior. A monster that will do anything and basically kill almost anyone he comes across to for his own sadistic pleasure. And a psychopath that could be called as one of the most iconic cinematic villains ever made. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give a like and subscribe, and have a nice day.
Are you going to shoot me?
That depends. Do you see me?